let's dive right in. We're here to talk about a really fundamental shift that's happening in AI. And it's happening right now, mostly under the radar. See, this isn't about the latest, flashiest feature. It's about something much deeper, the new foundation for competitive advantage. So let's get started. You know, this quote really nails the moment we're in right now. Because while everyone's distracted by all the noise, all the headlines, something else is happening. A quiet revolution is literally redefining the foundations of your business, and that's something that absolutely demands your strategic attention.
Okay, here's our game plan. We'll start with the silent revolution itself. Then, we'll look at how AI has evolved from a simple tool into a full-blown system. We'll cover the new rules of power, how this changes human effort, and finally, what your strategic response needs to be.
All right, Section 1, the silent revolution. Here, we're going to look beyond all the hype in the headlines to see what's really going on.
So, the real story here isn't about all the flashy tools you hear about every day. That's just noise. The real story is the signal. When a model like Claude Mythos comes along, it's not just another product update. You have to see it as a signal, a massive signal, that AI is fundamentally changing from just a bunch of disconnected tools into a deeply integrated system. And that leads us perfectly into our second section, how AI has gone from being a tool to becoming a full-fledged system. This is all about its evolution into what we can now call intelligent infrastructure.
This little journey here really spells it out. You know, AI started as just a concept, right? An idea. Then it became a helpful assistant. After that, it turned into this powerful content generator. But this final step, this is the one that changes everything. It's becoming a truly integrated system that completely alters how we operate.
So, what do we mean by infrastructure? Well, think about it like this. Infrastructure is when a system gets so woven into our daily workflows that we stop even thinking of it as a technology. It becomes the foundational layer. You don't just use it anymore, you start to build on top of it. It's the new ground floor for your processes, your decisions, and all your future innovation. And believe me, that transition, we are living right in the middle of it.
Okay, so this brings us to the absolute heart of the matter. If AI is the new infrastructure, what does that mean? It means the old rules of competition, they're out the window. The very definition of power in our industry has fundamentally changed. So let me ask you this. When a new AI system like this emerges, are we, as leaders, asking the right questions? Because it's not about, is it faster or what new features does it have anymore? The stakes are just so much higher now.
These are the questions that should be on the agenda in the boardroom. Not just is it smarter, but is it safer? Is this the system that's going to become the new industry standard? Who can we trust to give us the most reliable answers? And the big one, who is actually going to control this entire future system?
Because that's the real contest here. It isn't about features anymore. It's about power and control. This whole thing is a strategic battle to own the very systems that will handle information, analysis, and decision-making for years to come.
Okay, so let's bring this down from the 30,000-foot view to what's happening on the ground. How does this new infrastructure actually change the way we work? I mean, how does it redefine human effort itself?
Think about this first huge shift. It used to be that we searched for information. You know, we'd sift through things, evaluate sources, and put the pieces together ourselves. Now we just ask AI for a direct answer. We've gone from being hunters of information to simply receivers of it. That's a massive change in our mental workflow. And then there's the second shift, how we create things. The terror of the blank page? Well, for many, it's a thing of the past. We don't really write from scratch anymore. We co-create with AI as a partner. We prompt, we edit, we refine. The entire nature of our creative and intellectual output is changing right before our eyes.
And the third big shift is in analysis. Remember spending all that time trying to find the needle in the data haystack? Well, that's being replaced. Now, AI just gives us the so what. It delivers the ready-made insight directly to us. This is huge because it shifts our effort away from finding the meaning and towards acting on the meaning.
So when you put all three of those changes together, asking instead of searching, co-creating instead of writing, getting insights instead of analyzing, the conclusion is crystal clear. We are not just using a new tool. This isn't like getting a better version of Excel. We are adopting an entirely new system of work. Which brings us to our fifth and final section, and honestly, the most important one, your strategic response. Given everything we've talked about, what do you, as leaders, actually do? How do you manage the risks and, more importantly, seize the opportunity?
Look, with any powerful system like this, there are always inherent risks. And we have to be clear, these aren't just technical hiccups for your IT department to solve. These are fundamental, strategic risks that require oversight from the very top.
Let's talk about some key strategic risks. For one, becoming overdependent on a single system. That's a huge one. Then there's the spread of misinformation, which can happen at an incredible scale now. There's also the real danger that our own critical human skills could start to atrophy. And maybe most importantly, the risk of weakening our own independent thought. If we're not careful, each one of these could pose a serious threat to the business.
So you see, the central question here isn't really about how powerful the technology is. It's about how we, as leaders, choose to wield that power. It's about our strategy, our foresight, our wisdom. That responsibility, it's on us.
Because the next chapter of this story isn't really about machines, it's about people. It's about us. So the real questions are, who's going to adapt? Who's going to be the one to innovate? And who's going to get left behind?
And I'll leave you with this final thought. This isn't some prediction about a far-off future. It's already begun. The changes we've talked about are happening right now. The choices you make or fail to make in the next few months will decide who controls the future and who gets controlled by it. Those who understand this change today will be the ones who lead tomorrow.